Recently, a family member contacted me to let me know that my father is spreading lies about me online. Um, and I'm just not surprised. It's exactly what I expect of him. As a matter of fact, I would be surprised if he didn't do that. That's just the kind of man he is and has always been. Um, Initially, it threw me for a loop. Any feelings that I have that get stirred up about the people that abused me are intense feelings. It's just the way it goes. It's just part of the package there. uh, so, for a minute, things were stirred up. But then when that settled down, uh, it's actually been really great. Like I've had so much distance from just the toxic environment of my family at this point, that I looked at it and honestly I just was like, oh, this is like something one of my nastiest preschool students would have done. I taught 4-year-olds, and there are kids of different varieties, and some of the nastier ones might have, they wouldn't have known the words that he knew, but some of the nastier ones might have gotten that nasty and acted out in those particular ways because they were 4 and not 75 or however old. Don't even know which year my dad is, but he's in his 70s. And I was just like, oh, what do I mean, it kind of makes me laugh. I can't really take it that seriously. It's like how you can't take a tantruming child seriously. Um, you know, and so it was actually really great, because I realized, so here, we have this man in his 70s, this old man at this point in his 70s who was raised by toxic people, and has kind of, been loosely to more involved, engaged with his toxic family, his really, really toxic family, who all behave like tantruming 4-year-olds. Um, and he hasn't like transcended that at all, in any way, shape, or form. He's basically allowed himself to be the victim of, toxic, like, modeling from his parents and his family. He still actively participates in those behaviors and actively creates misery for himself. I'm, I mean, I mean, it's kind of funny. It's also sad. It's ludicrous. Um, it's ludicrous that he's basically not evolved in any way, shape, or form in this way. Um, and the reason it's been great to see that is because, I've been able to kind of do a much different thing with my life. I was also modeled very, very toxic, abusive behaviors from him and my mother. And, also damaged in similar ways to the way he was damaged. But where he is, is and has been for his entire life, 70 years, behaving in like petty, vengeful ways. I'm not, and it's not because I don't have feelings of pettiness or vengefulness. I'm human. I have yet to meet a human who doesn't have petty feelings about things. And who doesn't feel vengeful at least once in a while. And for me, I've got a lot of anger, because I was abused my entire childhood. and my adulthood. And the only reason I am not being actively abused by these people right now is because I cut off contact with them. That was the only way I could stop that. They had absolutely no interest in doing anything besides that. So that's why I cut off contact with them. So anyway, while he's, like actively participating in creating this misery for himself by behaving in petty and vengeful ways toward his own child, I'm over here, healing. I talk about surviving abuse because it's important to me to heal and transcend the behaviors that were models for me and be a better person. And when I'm a parent one day, be a better parent. Be a parent who respects my child and loves my child and doesn't just damage my child. So, I think probably, I know him pretty well. I was raised by the man. It's highly likely that part of the reason he's doing what he's doing is because he wants to hurt me. But it's having the opposite effect at this point. I just feel happy. I just look at that behavior. I look at a 70-year-old man behaving like a tantruming child, and I'm just so happy that I've been able to do a better job of my life. So, thanks, Dad.